Alright, what's up guys? So, this is titled All the Tea Ethan Klein Spilled About Trisha Paytas Leaving Frenemies. Let's go ahead, check this video out. Yeah, I'm just gonna try to go through down the list up until I either get tired or I just want to decide to start working on some other content. But anyways, yeah, let's go ahead and get into this video. Guys, make sure you go subscribe to Hot Tea, this channel, her personal channel, Ray Rahimi, and her business channel, Build Your Pocket. But in that being said, let's go ahead and get into this video. Once we full screens and stuff. Come on, don't take that long. Come on, bro. There we go.
Hey guys, today's video is actually sponsored by TutorFix, which is my own company, so it's actually not that exciting at all. If you need help in math, English, physics, or chemistry of any grade, you guys can check out tutorfix.ca for more information.
Oh, that's sick.
It's all Zoom tutoring, so it doesn't matter where you live in Canada or the United States, we could work something out. I actually do tutoring for it myself, so depending on your availability and the class that you want help in, I might just be your tutor or your
that's
kids
sick.
or your cousins or whatever. So yeah, super exciting. Check it out, tutorfix.ca. Okay, on to the video.
That's pretty sick. I didn't know she had that. Yeah, so yeah, go check that out too. And it's her own business. That's sick. I'm gonna have to like promote that one day. Make a own, like, it's my own little video promoting it, shouting it out.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be about Ethan Klein's new response video to Trisha Paytas leaving the Frenemies podcast. He just posted a video on the H3 podcast channel called Regarding Trisha Quitting Frenemies, so here is a summary. But before we get into it, make sure to subscribe to this channel, turn your post notifications on, and give this video a thumbs up. Alright, let's get into it. If you guys haven't watched my last video or haven't been on Twitter in the past 36 hours, here's a quick recap of everything that went down. Trisha Paytas and Ethan Klein had a little dispute in the latest episode of Frenemies, leading Trisha to once again walk off of set. Trisha then later announced that they will be quitting the Frenemies podcast altogether as they no longer feel like they're accepted in the crew, especially after they essentially implied that they don't deserve to get paid 5% of the revenue from the podcast. Although I have to mention that Trisha later clarified that they in no way, shape, or form had any problem with the 5%, they just had an issue with the lack of control that they had over the production and employees. So let's go over Ethan's response. First of all, he said that he's being put in a tough spot due to Trisha because they've been saying all these things publicly that he now feels the need to speak on.
I'm losing no matter what. She can say whatever she wants. You know, if I just sit and take it, everything's distorted. And if I say anything, then I'm the bad guy.
He says that as a friend and colleague, he has come to really like and appreciate Trisha, and he just wanted to ensure that everything he says in this video is coming from appreciation and love.
I wouldn't feel bad for it, because I'm like, my thing is like, because in the last video, like, pretty much it was like, said that like Trisha Paytas was more of an employee than like, than a host, of the show, even though she was hosting the show. And my thing is this, if you, and like I said in the last video, but if you want to have like a big part on the show, you gotta like do some big parts for the show. You gotta do some things in order to like maintain and have that area where it's like, okay, like I did my part, I did what I need to do, so it's like up to pay or whatever. It's like you got, my thing is this. Now I remember it's funny how it's like, this is something that's like I'm using it as an example, but I remember there was years ago where there was this model, she got on where I remember she blocked me all across social media because of this one tweet that I sent her where all I had said like, hey, if you want, because she made a tweet saying she wanted like the good things in her life to happen like right then and there. And I'm like, look, and if you want that stuff to happen, you gotta put in the work for it. You can't just, like not do nothing and then think this stuff's just gonna get handed to you and stuff. It don't work like that. You gotta put in work if you want to get paid, right? It's just like a 9 to 5. It's like your career, a podcast, a Twitch channel, or YouTube channel, freaking music. You gotta put in the hours. You gotta be releasing something or doing something in order to get paid. And once when you get paid, then it's like, oh, okay, well I gotta keep doing more so I can keep getting more of a paycheck. But it's like you can't be a cashier expecting to get paid like what the boss gets paid. You ain't even doing what the boss is doing. Don't work like that. So, but yeah, it's gonna probably take her some time to realize that. But yeah, it's and I hope that she does realize that now. But yeah.
And so creating frenemies with her is going to be one of the all-time highlights for me. It's been such an amazing ride. I've learned and grown from it so much on a personal level, and I feel like I've become a better person for this experience.
Why does that make me want to cry? Oh my god, he's so cute. He says he genuinely doesn't know what more he could have done to make this experience better, or more comfortable, or more equitable for Trisha. So then he goes into clarifying some things that Trisha has said. In regards to the creative differences that Trisha said that they had with the H3 crew and the fact that they always wanted to hire new staff, especially for the Frenemies podcast, Ethan says that he literally just found out about the whole thing the day of the podcast, and after speaking, Ethan actually came to an agreement with Trisha.
We had this big blowout. We talked the evening afterwards. I said, you know what? Let's hire a producer. You tell me who you want to hire, and I'll hire him. And he can work on some of the more complex ideas that you have.
He compares Trisha's ideas like going to the moon. Like, yeah, she'll give this over-the-top idea, but the hard part is the execution, which is what the H3 crew has been taking care of for the most part. Then the next day, Trisha drops the quitting frenemies video, which took Ethan completely by surprise because he was under the impression that everything was fine after having an entire conversation with Trisha.
I don't know. From a business partner perspective and a friend perspective, that video really rubbed me the wrong way. I don't know. I just felt like that video was just so unnecessary, and I just didn't get it because I had done everything possible.
I actually...
It's like Trisha Paytas, man. It's like, like, my thing is like, you got to expect things like that to happen, and I guess like if it hadn't happened in a long time, then it's like, okay, it's like still, my thing is like, if I know that this is what this person does and I know that that's in that person's character, I will always leave that door open just so I can be able to see like, oh, well, it doesn't surprise me that this happened and I know what to say and I know how to handle this. And it's like, all right, like, she's stepping down. I can't do nothing about that. So she wants to come back. Then it's like, you can. But it's like all that, like, get mad and angry because I'm saying or talking about this or doing this or hiring, like I said, if you want to get paid like the boss, you gotta be like a boss, okay? You gotta do boss things. Can't do like the, have like the most minor job in the company and then think you're gonna get paid. Like, it don't work like that. You ain't gonna get paid like the boss.
Feel bad for him. Oh my god, he looks so defeated. He talks about how Trisha talked about Ethan hiring.
Yeah, I could tell just by his like mannerism that he's just, that it actually did rub him the wrong way. It's like, he it's just, I don't know, like I don't really like watch him that much, but it's like I guess like I can tell like, because I've seen this with other people and even like, just like being rubbed the wrong way myself. It's like, yes, it's like very similar to other situations I've seen, and it's like, yeah, that what he's feeling right now, it's not a good feeling. It's not a good feeling at all.
Ian's girlfriend, Sam. He did explain to Trisha that hiring Sam had nothing to do with frenemies. Sam has been freelancing for H3 for months now, and Ethan really liked her work, and now that she's available to work full-time, he of course wanted to hire her, but that had nothing to do with Trisha or frenemies.
Why should Trisha have a say on who I hire for my production company? It literally has nothing to do with frenemies, and I explained that to her.
Trisha told Ethan that they wanted an entire new crew for frenemies with a whole new set. Essentially start from zero, and Trisha was unwilling to meet Ethan halfway because he had already agreed to hire a producer. He explains how H3 had taken the entire risk for this podcast from the very beginning because they had no idea how long.
I'm cool with that crew. I'm not going to be like, oh, Trisha wants me to fire you, even though she really has like no say. Yeah, she has no say so in my production company. This is my production. Like it says Ethan Klein when they're like, who owns this company? Who owns H3 Productions? And it says Ethan Klein, not Trisha Paytas. But yeah, guys, I gotta look you all in your faces and say, hey, you gotta go find another job because Trisha Paytas for some reason doesn't want you here. Like, that's weird.
We put up the money. We took all the risks for a show that she's already walked out and quit 3 times.
So it's just insanity for Ethan to be taking the risk of hiring a whole ass new crew and leasing a whole space for a minimum.
Because it's like, okay, so you do hire a new crew, then Trisha's like, oh, I don't like that crew, fire them and hire another one. I ain't gonna be going through all of that. It's like, no, be cool with the crew that's here down, or it's like, put in your like 50% in order to like, have a say so in what it's gonna be going on. But if not, then it's like, what do you expect to happen?
Like 3 years for something that she would inevitably quit again.
And guess who's going to take all the risk on that? Me. I'm going to risk my ass. Like I've done this whole process. I've put up the money. I fronted everything because I believe in this.
I guess the only way they could work around this is if Trisha was contractually obligated to do the podcast for a minimum of, say, 3 years or whatever they feel was necessary. Otherwise, she would need to pay H3 for some of the losses due to breaking the lease and stuff. But then again, that doesn't seem like an amazing idea because it would force Trisha to stay and do a podcast that she doesn't actually enjoy doing, and that would obviously be communicated to the viewers, and the show would go slowly downhill. It would just be a whole thing. Also, just like the crew has worked so hard on the show, every single Sunday before the show, the crew is working their asses off. So yeah, Ethan thinks that this is being disrespectful to the crew to suddenly be like, bye, you're off the show now.
There's so many weeks where we don't talk in between the podcasts, and it falls to me and the crew to make sure that there's a show with a plan, a structure, with resources, with everything cited and prepared for me. Everything takes work. Nothing is easy. Maybe it looks easy to her, like we don't do anything, but everything takes a lot of work.
Damn. And then Ethan says that he was very upfront with the crew about Trisha wanting to fire them and hire a new crew, and maybe he shouldn't have done that. This was the day before they had to shoot a video, and they had actually already spent like a bunch of money on it. The crew thought it might be a bit awkward, but they were still down to do it, and so Ethan made the executive decision to cancel the shoot and to take a few days off to cool off.
In the context of that conversation, I think Trisha came to take the meaning like, oh, they're on strike. That wasn't the case. They were always down to shoot it.
In Trisha's video, they also said that Sam, the new girl that Ethan hired, was sad because Trisha bashed her segment idea for the podcast. Ethan says it doesn't matter at all whose idea it was. It was just rude and unnecessary for Trisha to sit there and trash the work.
Because ultimately, I have to create a safe work environment for my employees. It's just kind of toxic to sit there and shit on their work. Whoever did it, it doesn't matter who did it.
And for the record, he clarifies that Sam wasn't even upset that Trisha didn't like the idea. She was more upset about the fact that Trisha said that they would want to fire the crew because it gave Sam the impression that Trisha didn't want to be around her. And now people are going around to everyone in the crew's girlfriends and wives on their social media and being so hateful towards them. People are like actually crazy.
Now, ironically, Sam is a huge fan of Trisha. She's the one that like built the Steamies award for her and bedazzled it and made the little Peeps Rolls Royce. Like, Sam loves Trisha.
Okay, now I feel so bad for Sam. Oh my god, why am I so emotional today? I kind of want to cry. Ethan then clarifies that the crew never did anything wrong. They were always okay with coming to the shoot, and it was Ethan's idea to not do it. The whole premise of the show was that they were very open with each other, but Ethan felt like he always had to walk on eggshells around Trisha, even though Trisha was free and willing to say absolutely whatever they wanted to Ethan and his family.
She called my wife, like, the C word. She called me, she said the most horrible thing. She said, I'm a terrible parent. Hila's a terrible parent.
He understands that Trisha has mental health issues, but that's...
I remember that a while ago, but dang. I'm like, I'd forget letting her walk off. I fired her. If it's like, if I'm like on the, like the whole ownership thing, and it's like, not like, overall I fired her. I just been like, you ain't gonna be working for my company and stuff. You're gonna be disrespectful and stuff. I'm like, that's nah, I don't slide with stuff like that. So I'm like, if you're gonna be like working with me, for me, or whatever, it's like, be respectful. It's like, cause my thing is like, oh, you want to say things like that? Like, you really want to cross that bridge where it's like you're offending the people that I have to look at every single day? Like, my thing is like, okay, you come here, you record this podcast episode, you pack your stuff up, and then you're gone. I still gotta look these people in the face. So when you're out here disrespecting them, saying, oh, fire this person, I hate this person, I don't like this person's this, this person's that, and then you leave, they're gonna be looking at me like, you brought this girl in so she can like say all these different things to us, like, and I'm just like, what do I do? No, that's not gonna slide with me. I'm like, no, you gotta go. You can't. I'd go and hire somebody else, but I'm like, nah. I'm like, I heard there's this one guy in freaking Seattle named TMossBoss. He probably try out for frenemies, or freaking Ray Rahimi in Canada, but it's like you gotta go. Like, this ain't gonna work.
It's just not a justification, and it's not fair to Ethan. He has mental health issues too, he says, and he's not using that as an excuse.
Exactly.
I can't be her emotional punching bag. The minute I speak up for myself, it turns into another like show-ending fight. It's just not a fair relationship.
He also says that he doesn't like it when Trisha tokenizes his Tourette syndrome,
which always makes me uncomfortable. I always ask her to stop doing that, insisting that everything I do is, oh, that's Tourette's, that's Tourette's. I don't like it. And I tell her that every time.
In response to Trisha saying that they had
because she probably what it is like, oh, like I know so much about like mental health and mental illnesses and things, and it's like, oh, you're having a moment. Oh, that's Tourette's. It's like, no, it's not. I'm having a moment. People are not allowed to have a moment. It's like not everything is gonna. Oh my god, it's like I'm not even dealing with her, but I'm like, dang man, it's like I'm like, bruh. If she had contacted me saying, hey, can I be on your show, the TMossBoss show, I'm like, probably not. Like, I mean, it would probably be a good business move for me because it would definitely blow up my podcast. But at the same time, I'm like, what's gonna happen? Like, is this gonna be a one episode? Maybe if it's like a one episode thing and I'm interviewing her, possibly, maybe. But if she wants to be on there like time after time, like I'm remembering back in the day when there was kids that I didn't was even chilled with, but I had to see them like every single day, either at the bus stop or at freaking school, and I'm like, can I like run away? I wonder how I would look right now if I just ran off. Like, how would everybody be looking at me? Because I'm like, dang, man. You know, it's one of those situations where you don't want to be surrounded by the person. But anyways.
Any ideas for the show, he says that the 3 examples Trisha listed in their video was pretty much the extent of it. Also, like, just giving ideas is mostly like the fun part. The actual making shit happen part is hard, which is what H3 had to do, and Trisha had absolutely no part in.
The tour bus, that was very hard to put together, and she like tore it apart. She was very rude about it, saying that it was unprofessional, people didn't know what they were doing, it was just the cast's girlfriend on the bus, this and that. It's like, yeah, it was the cast's significant others and friends and family, because you know what's the legal issue of trying to get a release from random people?
He thought the video ended up great, but for Trisha, nothing is ever good enough because they're not that one that's actually doing the heavy lifting. They don't know how hard it is to put something like that together in a week's time.
So yeah, I think she's just had like the easy road when it came to content creating. Maybe, yeah, she did overall put in a lot of work. I mean, you know, she's maintained her name for so long and stuff, but it's like, the question is how much work have you put into, like, have you just, you know, started up your camera and just started, you know, rambling and ranting, you know, but it's like not even that, but it's like trying to overall use other situations for the reason why you've acted out or lashed out. Like you're trying to pin it on everything else except you, and for you to take responsibilities and stuff. Like I feel like that's one thing as a content creator, is when you sign up, day one of you signing up to be a content creator, first things first, entertaining your fans, entertaining a crowd, having them become fans, and then eventually, you know, having them become supporters, most likely a few of them becoming friends of yours, right? That's what, you know, content creating is all about. Her, on the other hand, I think that it's like, she doesn't really care about that. I mean, obviously based off of that last episode, but it's just, oh man, it's a lot. Like I would have to like do my own little separate video. This like, I don't really like doing videos like that where it's like I gotta like write out and things, because it's like it's so much to really talk on with, you know, them and things. It's like my brain, it's being fried right now.
The day Trisha posted the Leaving Frenemies video, Ethan texted her being like, wow, that was unfair of you to do that. Trisha ignores that text, but then posts a 20-minute video in response to it.
I just was like, I'm reaching out to you to try to resolve this, and your response is to put out another 20-minute video about the situation.
And now he's in a situation where he feels obliged to make a video that he never even wanted to make in the first place, in response to all the videos that Trisha has put out there. He also thinks that it's hypocritical of Trisha to say all those things about the advice segment when literally the day before they were like completely okay with it. They even retweeted the tweet H3 posted about it, completely unprompted by Ethan.
Before we went live, I went over the segment with her. I showed her the questions that people had. She liked it. She agreed.
My theory is that Trisha was just mad that Ethan interrupted them like once, so they just started going off and complaining about anything and everything. Trisha also said that they hated the costumes they had to wear on Frenemies and how they didn't even know half the characters, but Ethan shows their DMs showing how excited Trisha was and even saying that the characters were in one of her favorite movies.
She loves it. It's one of her favorite movies, and then she hates it. She doesn't even know who the character is, and it's all my idea, and, you know, me for even making her do this. It's like, I don't understand. What am I supposed to do?
Then he moves on to talk about the 5% cut thing, which is obviously not much to ask at all. He pays for the set, crew, insurance, equipment, editing, uploading, accounting, payroll, everything. So like, what the fuck? They even work on Sundays for the show.
I send her a fully itemized report every month of literally everything and how the expenses break down and her cut. And the fact that she would even accuse me of not being transparent is honestly very hurtful.
He says that the 5% may not even be covering the costs they incur. It's more of like a family rate.
There is no production company in the world that would do all that for 5%. It's as close to nothing as humanly possible. And one of the great efforts I've always made to be as fair and transparent and accommodating to Trisha as possible, but it's like she always keep going back.
He then says that Trisha has the audacity to start tweeting out their private DMs for like no reason.
I said, I think I need 55.45 to cover the cost of production. And she showed a screenshot of her saying, I'm being Jewy, by the way.
And that's just another example of how Trisha is allowed to say whatever they want and make all the offensive stereotypes, but Ethan just can't say shit. He also complains about how they spent all this money.
I wouldn't have. See, that's the thing where it's like, Ethan's a nice person. Me, on the other hand, I'm not a nice person. Because I just don't, well, for one, I don't allow anybody to just walk all over me. But it's like, I just don't want people to just get that idea. You know, it's like, if I got a business and something going on here, and then somebody else tries to, that's why, like, I never really took criticism, you know, the right way and stuff. Because there are at times where it's like, I feel like that people will, you know, overall try to send me some sort of advice and some sort of help. And I just feel like based off of past experiences and, you know, things, and it's like that went down where it's like people try to give me advice and criticism, you know, I like people honestly think that they could just come here and just be like, oh, I'm just gonna, you know, just walk all over you and things, and then try to claim that it's like me being helpful and me being, no, it's not like that. My thing is like, what? That's why I would look Trisha in her face and be like, what was that? You know, like, please, if you're going to make a 20-minute video on anything, please, make a 20-minute, 2-hour, 3-hour, 4-hour, make a whole Justice League long, like, length video if you need to. And I'm talking about the Snyder cut, the Zack Snyder cut. Make that, all right? Make that as long as you need it to be. And explain why is it okay for you to do things like that. You can say whatever you want to say to me, but as soon as I say something, you want to start crying and getting all triggered and angry and upset. Like, that's something. Yeah, I just, you know, it's not cut out for me. I'll have a co-host. I'll work with people and all of that stuff. But as soon as you start getting disrespectful, I'm just saying, be prepared for some of the things that I will say to you. And I'm telling you, at the end, my thing is this. There's been times where people have said stuff to me and I've had them like mad, heated, upset. And I'm like, okay, just don't cross that bridge with me. That's the type of stuff where it's like, I feel for Ethan. Because it's like, you know, people thought they could do that with me and stuff. And I'm like, it's just, you know, like, and I'm not like saying like Ethan needs to change, you know, or you know, he needs to be like a little bit more like, you know, like aggressive with people and stuff. I just feel like it's in some people and it's not in some people, and it's probably good that way where it's like that aggression is in some people and then the aggression is not in some people. But yeah, I just think that it's at times, you know, you just need to like let a person know before they continue on, hey, none of that, stop all that. And it's like, you know, you can tell a person to stop. But with me, on the other hand, it's like, I'll roast you, and I would not care if you start crying.
Getting a studio in downtown LA, and their plan was to move there all along so they don't have to keep filming in their literal basement. Trisha was like, no, I have bad memories from there or something, so they literally had to spend an additional $30,000 so they could continue doing it at the house. He says it's also fucked up of Trisha to walk out on the show when Hila used her own company's resources to make so much Frenemies merch stock that it's now not going to sell.
Every penny I've made from Frenemies, by the way, if she wants to talk about money, is tied up in this merch that doesn't come out for another month that I don't even know if we're going to sell. So it's like, for all the complaining she does for money, she's the only one, as far as I'm concerned, that's actually making money from this thing. She shows up, she gets a guaranteed check every month, and I'm putting all my money on the line, and now it's like, tough luck, dude.
Taking the risk into consideration.
He could do what he's doing his with his brand, Teddy Fresh. I know, because I remember, I think I might have donated that shirt because that shirt started getting like small on me and stuff. But No, it's like have it because I know he sells like some of his clothes at Zoomies and stuff. So I'm like, do that, cut a deal with a clothing company and have it where that stuff gets sold on there. But I don't know, something. But
That Ethan always had. He deserves way more than just 5%. Reward is always tied to risk. Of course, Ethan could never walk off the show the way Trisha has three
Yeah.
times now because he actually has stake in this thing. So he should have taken more, like 60 to 80% for all of the risk that he has taken, in my opinion. I just can't believe that Trisha would do this to them, especially considering the fact that Trisha is literally engaged to Hila's actual brother. Like, Trisha is actually indirectly taking food out of Moses' sister's kid's mouth.
We were planning to do a photo shoot this Thursday, something she insisted on doing, and we put it together with our resources. This is all money that
so
we...
that wedding is gonna be so awkward. It's like that'd be like the one wedding where I'm like I'd definitely be contemplating like should I show up or should I just stay home and play video games. I'm like I know I'd stay home and play video games. I'm gonna have more fun doing that but than showing up to her wedding. But
We were paying upfront out of our pockets and never even thought to ask her for money because I don't give a shit, right?
In the end, he says that he fully supports Trisha, but Trisha has been completely unfair to him. He hates talking about money, but now he has to because Trisha has made the money situation public. But he's actually so screwed with this merch situation, and even if it does sell, he still has to pay 50% to Trisha because he promised them.
Even though she went on Twitter and tried to call me a liar, he's lying. I only get 50%. It's like, Trisha, read the message. The profit margin is 30%. I'm giving you half of the profits.
In Trisha's defense, I don't think they understand the difference between revenue and profit margin. In regards to Trisha complaining about not having enough input on the show, Ethan says that this is absolutely not true. In fact, in an earlier episode, Trisha was complaining about how Ethan texts them too much, wanting to involve them in the show too much.
She told me not to bother her. You guys remember that? That's in the show. Like on Sunday night, she goes, don't text me past like 9 or 8 or whatever it is. It's like, nice for you. We're all up preparing for the show.
In the end, he's grateful for the experience of doing frenemies, and he has so much to thank Trisha for. This is not the end of their relationship, and they're still family.
Don't cry because it's over. Smile because it happened.
Okay, now I want to cry because of how cute this is. One user commented, Ethan is so hurt, I feel like it's more than about the money. And I honestly agree.
Oh, yeah.
Like, this honestly was just a...
It's at the end of the day, it's like, you know, even though this is like a business thing, like I'm pretty sure he did look at Trisha like a friend, you know, and it's like to have that like, you know, ripped out of you and stuff, that's not a good feeling. It's not a good feeling at all. So yeah, it probably goes deeper than this, and who knows, there might be a documentary like, you know, years down the road where it kind of explains all this stuff when it was going down, or who knows, there might just be a time where it's like they sit down and they kind of talk on it, who knows. But anyways,
sad video for me to watch. I don't know, what do you guys think about this video? Is Trisha in the right? Is Ethan in the right? Comment down below. Also, another update video is coming up on Trisha's side of all of this, so stay tuned for that. I just didn't want to make this one too long. That was it for today's video. Please make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you enjoyed. I post new videos every single week. Bye.
yeah, I think Trisha, you know, she definitely needs some time to herself. She don't need to be on no frenemies podcast or any other stuff, but yeah, she definitely needs time to herself. But anyways, I will talk to you guys later. Make sure you guys go show the most amount of love to Hot Tea and her personal channel, Raverhemi, and her business channel, Build Your Pocket. Also, look into that thing. Like, I mean, if you need to look into it and stuff. But look into that thing she was talking about where it's like, you know, she's helping out people with like classes and stuff. I think that's a cool thing she got going on. So, but anyways, thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and peace.